Right, guys, who wants to be strong with me? I'm not going to drink tonight. I'm not. So, it is I, the real Randy Chavez, coming at you with a Pokemon sales data video. That's right, back at it again with the Pokemon sales data. You know the reference. Jumping right into it, we have a Blaine's Charizard First Edition PSA 9, sold for $1,115. We had a Wigglytuff First Edition PSA 9, sold for $172. 1995 Japanese Top Sun Greenback Clefable. This is 25 years old. Was it a PSA 9 or PSA 10? I didn't write it down. Either way, it sold for $39. Those cards are just really cool. They're the OGs, they're original, and quarter century old, and you can get either a mint or a gem mint copy for $40. That's amazing to me. Dark Magneton, first edition PSA 9, sold for $263. I want to say that is undervalued because there's a 10 on auction right now, and that's going to go for probably $4,000. I don't know what the current bid is, like 2,500, something like that. But there's only 48 PSA 10 copies. That is not a lot, especially considering Rocket Set, which had so many print runs for first edition. Just to dial this back, there's 440 PSA 9 copies. So that's a lot. That's a lot of PSA 9 copies. I despite having almost 500 PSA 9 copies, Magneton's not really that well of a liked Pokemon. That was the third Magneton to come out because you had a Magneton in base set, and then you had a Magneton in the fossil set. So having a Dark Magneton, again, it's not really something that people are just like, oh wow, this is, it's not like let's say like a Rocket's Hitmonchan. Rocket's Hitmonchan in the Gym Hero set, you have to wait like 5 sets for the next one because it was a Hitmonchan in base set. There wasn't any in Fossil or Jungle, and there wasn't any in the Rocket set or the Gym Challenge. So there was a 5th set. So you had to wait a while. But a Rocket set, which is having the third Magneton, in the card game come out, it's cool. It is really cool to look at. But I just don't think there's that much demand for this card. Obviously, people want it. They're going to get it, but if even if 5%, or 2% come out on the market, 2% of the 440 copies, that's only 8 to 9 copies, but that'll drive it down. And we've seen that with T18, Typhlosion, and even T17, the PSA 9s. They're just, flood the market, supply and demand. So much supply, not enough demand for it. Maybe these will rise, the PSA 9s, once that 10 finally sells. I don't think we've had a sale for that in a long time. Because again, they're very rare. It's basically the Misty's Golduck of the Rocket set. And that's pretty much how I'd describe it. So moving on past that, there is a Dark Slowbro. We're gonna have a couple from the Rocket set. So Dark Slowbro First Edition PSA 9 sold for $122. Dark Blastoise First Edition PSA 9 sold for $320. That is more like it, not the $800 we saw yesterday. We had a Brock's Rhydon. This is a cool card. I always loved Rhydon. I'm glad it got a holo. First Edition PSA 9 sold for $123. Clefable Jungle Set First Edition PSA 8 sold for $63. I love Clefable. So cool. Vileplume First Edition PSA 9 sold for $142. Dragonite First Edition PSA 9 from Fossil Set sold for $531. Dark Golbat First Edition PSA 10 sold for $205. Lieutenant Surge's Pharaoh sold for $167. I think this is something that's undervalued as well. I think it's a really cool card. You see a Pharaoh gets a lot of hate because in the anime, Pharaoh was like a dick to all the Pidgeys and Pidgeotos, trying to bully them and all that, and clans were warring. Finally, Ash's Pidgeot came in and kicked its ass. Pidgeotto, but then it evolved. But so I feel like Pharaoh gets a lot of hate, but it is a really pretty card. I don't know why Lieutenant Surge has a Pharaoh, but whatever. And First Edition PSA 9 sold for $167. This is still very rare also, in the fact that there's only 58 PSA 10 copies, and I think, 11 or 1,500, the last Lieutenant Surge Pharaoh, Gem Mint, first edition PSA 10. And there's 230 PSA 9 copies. So this is something that I think should be higher. This should probably be around $300 in my opinion. Right now. Raichu from the Fossil set, first edition PSA 9, sold for $145. T18, Speak of the Devil, the one that is more common, Typhlosion, Neo Genesis, first edition PSA 9, sold for $550. That just comes so far down. We had a Delibird from Neo Rev, first edition PSA 9, sold for $80. We had a Kangaskhan, first edition PSA 9 from the Jungle set, sold for $193. And we had a Hypno, first edition PSA 9, sold for $117. Umbreon. This is one that I thought was interesting because Umbreon, first edition PSA 10, as far as public sales go, the only two that I've seen the last couple months was 2,200 or best offer on March 10th. And then there was a 3,000 or best offer on March 15th, on the Ides of March. And Umbreon, because it's an evolution, I personally, I like Espeon better. I just more an attack rather than defense, but any evolution is going to have a little bit of a premium. And there's only 68 PSA 10 copies, and there is 206 PSA 9 copies. So you don't see too many Umbreons sell, at least not publicly. So the 9 got $785, which leads me to believe... Oh, and then an 8 also sold for $387. Now, this leads me to believe that because we haven't seen a sale in a while, because like March 10th and 15th, that's right at the beginning, maybe a little bit before the price surge that we just had. So I'm thinking now that PSA 10 copy, because there's less than 70 copies of that, it's not like, God Tier like Misty's Golduck or Dark Magneton, but Misty's Golduck and Dark Magneton are just like, they're okay. Like they're, people like them, but an evolution has got to have more demand. It definitely does. So I would wager the next one would probably go for $3,500 to, if we do, honestly, I think it would be $4,000. $4,000, that's what I would pay. I wouldn't, but I think that's what it's valued at. I think that if someone paid that, like, okay, that's fair. Someone could pay $5,000. I don't know. I mean, again, supply and demand. There's none out there that I can see on eBay. So I thought that was interesting too. Giovanni's Nidoking. We have a couple of sales with these. There was one where it's first edition PSA 10, and it looked like it just didn't have it had like a smudge. Like it maybe shouldn't have gotten that 10. That sold for $375, and I was watching another one that had it was on auction. It had a few bids already, but then it had a buy it now option. $425 you could buy it. $425 you could buy it now. And I was like, this card is so undervalued right now. Buy. So that's what I did. I bought it. The current bid was like $160. I was like, buy. Like, even if another auction ended a few days ago for like $350. These are so undervalued. I finally have some money now, so purchases over the last couple of days. Okay, so I bought a Rockets Mewtwo. Same thing. I think it was the same seller actually. That had a few bids on it, and it had a buy it now option for $850. Done. That is also, even though I paid market price or slightly above market price, I paid a premium for it because the last one sold for like $800. So tack another $50 on that. So but it's because there's 168. I think both of them. No. Giovanni's Nidoking has like 167, 168 PSA 10 copies. And because that's one of my favorite cards in that Gym Challenge set, I know that people think that card is okay. It's good. It's cool. He's cool looking. I'm a little biased because I love that card. But Rockets Mewtwo, so much history with that card. So much awesomeness. Because not only is it the first card ever to have 3 attacks, they had to shift the holo. So let's say normal holo is this big. They had to shift it downwards to fit all the attacks on it. And it's legendary. It is Mewtwo. That is the final boss in the Pokemon game. It is in the Pokemon, the Game Boy game. That is extraordinarily hard. He's a villain in the movie. He's several movies. It is just extraordinarily incredible. Again, that's the first Mewtwo we've seen since base set. Then we had Shiny Mewtwo later, but there's more of a want for Mewtwo than there are for Nidoking. So that's why I bought it, even though there's less than 200, maybe like 190 PSA 10 copies. I was like, you know what, I have to buy it because that is something that people are going to want, and I think that's undervalued. I think almost all of the Gym Challenge cards are undervalued. Except for Misty's Golduck, Blaine's Charizard. I think those are pretty fair, and those are. I bought a bunch of Blaine's Charizards just because I like them. I enjoy them. I love looking at them. When I bought them, I didn't think that, oh, you know what, these are probably be worth 5 times as much, but here the fuck we are. Here the fuck we are. And I didn't think that would happen. I mean, now, obviously, going through all the data, I'm telling you guys what I'm doing, what I'm thinking. I sold a first edition Aerodactyl, non-hollow. It would have got a 9 or a 10. It was for $30. So I sold that, sent that out today. We had a Blaine's Charizard first edition PSA 9 and an unlimited PSA 9. Now, separately, an unlimited PSA 9 for Blaine's Charizard that had gotten, I think, like $300. So let's say we give it a premium, $350. Both of these sold for $1,682. So if we minus that $350 from there, back in the napkin math, $1,332 is what the Blaine's Charizard first edition PSA 9 pretty much sold for, and that would be a record price for that Blaine's Charizard. So now be advised, the person that bought it had 0 feedback. So I don't know if the sale's going through, but even so, the second bid on it was $1,657. It's $25. So, and then the one after that was $1,607. So multiple people over $1,600 for this. So I'm pretty confident that even if this falls through, the other ones are right there. And then we have a Venusaur base set, first edition PSA 9, sold for $3,114. Fuck. Record price point. Rocket's Hitmonchan. Oh yeah, so Rocket's Hitmonchan, first edition PSA 10. I saw Rocket's Hitmonchan, first edition PSA 9 in the video I made yesterday. Sold for $177. So I see 3, or there was 3 this morning on eBay for like $400. All of them were $400. And I made a buy thread on E4, want to buy Rocket's Hitmonchan. They did it for $350. And I was going to pay him, friends and family, but his PayPal didn't accept that. It was only goods and services. So like, all right, here's an extra $5 for, shipping. So $355 is what I paid, even though the agreed price was $350. And what that did was it just got me a card that I think is extraordinarily undervalued. There is, I think, 121 PSA 10 copies. And again, that's something that is not cluttered in every set. That is, in the Gym Heroes, the second Hitmonchan we've ever seen. And the first one was amazing. That first Hitmonchan, not only, again, boxer. I love the sport of boxing, and I love martial arts. And one of my favorite episodes is when Ash has a primate, and he enters him in that tournament, and there's, he runs into, that guy, it talks like this. I don't know if they're trying to make him look like Stallone in hindsight, but he has a Hitmonchan. And the guy that has the Hitmonchan is just really cool, takes on Hitmonlee, the kicking fiend, and he was going to win that fight too. Hitmonchan was going to win. You heard it here first. Yeah, I don't think anyone else is talking about this episode 20-something years later. But that's one of my favorite episodes because I love that. I love that Pokemon. And even in the trading card game, yeah, it looks cool. He's in a good pose, but it was also very playable. Very, very playable. You have that one energy, one fighting energy, and then, boom, jab. Easy 20 points. Like, I love Meowth for that same thing in that trading card game because one energy, and then boom, Cat Paw. You can take out Pokemon that are on the bench with the Cat Paw. Cat Paw attacks someone on the bench, and it's at random, which is great. So if people have like a brick up front, that they're trying to like, all right, let me put this tank out here so that I can build up my bench. Freaking Meowth's Cat Paw will take them out before he can do it. So I really love that strategy. And Hitmonchan, again, quick jab, one energy card. So it's really nice, really easy. So it's very, very playable. And the 3 energies for, power move. It's such a good Pokemon. It's such a good card. And that are, again, just talk about, even without my likes of it, if you just look at the math, $177 for PSA 9, and I can get that card for if I pay almost double, I can get the 10. Done deal. I haven't done it yet. I bought that one, so that one's bought. But there's 2 others out there right now, 400 each. I might just buy them both because that is so undervalued. I think, in my opinion. Okay, and again, that's what I'm doing. If you guys beat me to the punch after I upload this and melt them about tomorrow and then they're gone, I'll know my job is done. You guys made a great investment. Again, just my opinion. Electrode, first edition PSA 9, sold for $81. And then a Lugia, first edition PSA 9, sold for $15.75. Fuck, that is a incredible. And as far as Neo Genesis, it's very, very, God tier rare. Not even God tier rare. It's very, very rare because there's less than 50 PSA 10 copies. And it's Lugia. But for Neo Genesis, it's not that rare. Like, because you have Slowking and you have Typhlosion and you have Feraligatr and you have Meganium. They all have under 20 PSA 10 copies. This one has more than double that, Lugia. So, but it's still, the 9's still getting $15.75. So it's really coveted card. You don't see a lot of the 10s. There's one on sale now. It's like, $25,000. Like, blow me. I mean, if you can't get it, and let's say you wanted to complete the set, yeah, that's your only option. That is your only option. If you really, really want it, and you don't want to wait, yeah, someone will pay it. If they have, $1 million, and like, yeah, I don't want to complete the set. I want to do this. It's mine. I don't know when I'm going to get it again. Yeah, maybe they could. I know, guys, that's just what I'm doing. I hope everyone's having a great, fantastic day. Will not drink. I will not drink. I have water. Okay, I love you. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.